What's up, my comic comrades? Today we cover the epic death of the Venomverse 5-issue miniseries. In short, it's a story that deals with Carnage wanting to reach godhood and killing every Venom in the multiverse to get there. It's an epic story that has been years in the making, and today we're gonna break it all down for you. We've also been telling you guys we have some big announcements coming, and today we have one of them. We are stupid excited to announce that starting next Friday, October 13th, during New York Comic Con weekend, Variant is officially linking up with Whatnot to bring you guys exclusive, limited run comics and collectibles that you won't find anywhere else. We're also going to be doing Whatnot live streams where we'll be giving away incredible pieces on the regular, and then give you a chance to pick up limited run exclusives and beyond at amazing prices through Whatnot's auction feature. The fun starts on Friday, October 13th with that day's Variant episode, where we'll be revealing the first exclusives and making them available on the Variant Comics Whatnot shop. So click the link in the description now to follow Variant Comics on Whatnot and set up your notifications ahead of time. It's completely free to sign up, and believe me when I tell you, you are not going to want to miss out on the first drop. It's a New York Comic Con exclusive, and it's a big one. Just hit every subscribe, follow, notification button you can get your hands on, just to be sure. Anyway, with that glorious news covered, sit back, relax, and enjoy Death of the Venomverse. It all really started in the Absolute Carnage 5-issue series from 2019. In that series, Carnage was resurrected by a cult that worships the symbiote god Null and fused with the Grendel symbiote. Once brought back, of course, he goes after Eddie Brock and the Venom symbiote, aka his dad, as the Carnage symbiote is the spawn of Venom. We learn that if Carnage kills enough, he will awaken his god Null, and then the world falls under a waterfall of blood and enters a new universe of darkness. By the end of Absolute Carnage, Eddie is able to kill Cletus Cassidy, aka Carnage, but not before it's too late. Yeah, Cletus forced Eddie's hand to take his Venom symbiote back so he could kill him and save his son Dylan. But in doing so, Eddie completed the Codex Circle, reconnecting to the symbiote hive, allowing Null to be free, which we see at the end of issue 5. The series ends with Cletus dead, but Null set free, which leads to the King in Black event, where Null almost takes over the universe, but Venom defeats him, becoming the new god of the symbiotes. But wouldn't you know it, Carnage didn't die in Absolute Carnage. In fact, we find out in Carnage Forever issue 1 that not only did the Carnage symbiote survive, but it no longer needs Cletus to thrive. You see, at the end of the issue, Carnage tells Hydro Man, who thinks Carnage wants to bond with him, "Why would I take you for a host when it's only your powers I desire? Why would I bond with you when all I need to do is pull you apart?" You see, Hydro Man, I was with Cletus for so very long. I've only recently begun to understand the full extent of my own capabilities without my host. And I'm curious to see just how far they can go. So before the end, would you like to glimpse one more time the very meaning of Carnage as he tears him apart and takes his powers? Carnage basically alludes to the fact that he's been with Cletus for so long, he no longer needs him to be on his own. On top of the fact that technically speaking, Cletus's codex, which are metaphysical records of a person's memories and unique powers a host possess, are kept within the symbiote hive, meaning Carnage can pull from this, meaning he and Cletus are now one and the same, almost like transferring a consciousness to a different body. But it only gets crazier from here. In issue 10 of Carnage's 2022 series, Carnage traveled to the Forge of Nidavellir, where armed with Malekith's codex from the time he bonded with the Venom symbiote, Carnage plans to create a godly weapon of his own. You see, in issue 9, Carnage basically tricked legendary blacksmith Drorin into making the greatest blade whose singular purpose is carnage, saying, what greater ambition exists for a weapon than to kill? Drorin falls for it, as his sole purpose in life is to make the best weapons, so he was up for the challenge. And this would be the ultimate weapon because Carnage gave him the Codex of Malekith, which has the memory of All Black, meaning Carnage wants him to essentially make a new version of All Black, aka the Necro Sword, one of the most powerful weapons in Marvel. But it was a trick. Drorin devises a plan to stop Carnage with the help of Kenneth Neely, a serial killer who wanted to bond with Carnage. He plans to use the heat from the Forge to kill Carnage, which is so hot only Uru metal can absorb it. But obviously, that doesn't work. So Carnage finishes the weapon himself, absorbing Uru metal from the corpses of dwarves that lay around the forge, merging it with his body so he won't die, and then uses it to create his brand new spear, which he dubbed All Blood, essentially becoming a god with this new weapon. Now from here, Carnage would continue his carnage in Miles Morales' Spider-Man issue 7, almost killing Miles, stabbing him in the back with a tendril, but luckily for Miles, Iron Man gave him an Iron Spider suit that contained nanite clusters that helped Miles heal. The suit even acted as a cast of sorts to keep him protected and his vitals up. From here, we're taken to the Carnage Reigns Omega one-shot, where Miles and Iron Man have their final round with Extrembiate Carnage. The Extrembiate has the power of a symbiote dragon and is infused with the Extremis virus Virus that merged with a suit of Iron Man's Model 70 armor, developing new powers. But in the end, Miles and Iron Man were able to stop the extremebyte Carnage. Then you have Web of Carnage. From here, Carnage really starts to ramp up his ascension to godhood. You see, at this point, he wants to make himself the image of his god and creator. So as we know, he no longer needs a host, and he can now transverse the dark dimension of the Spot, and even has forged Allblood, the Necro Spear, which we just went over. Now in the Web of Carnage one-shot, we see that Carnage still feels incomplete, and in order to defeat the true King in Black, Eddie Brock, he needs more power and has to continue to get rid of his weaknesses. This brings him into a confrontation with Morlun, where he ultimately realizes that he doesn't need Morlun's power to help him become a god and ultimately defeat the King in Black, Eddie Brock. He even tells Morlun, "I thought that with the life force of Venom within me, the other symbiotes would follow me as they do him. That I'd be accepted, but I've become what I am, all-powerful, no need for a host because I wasn't accepted. Because I refused to bow to the way things had always been. It's apparent the cost of your power is that it would make me dependent, weak. And I'll never be weak again. The other symbiotes will follow me because they'll see I am the strongest, that I deserve it, that I am far better than Eddie Brock, and if they don't, I'll just kill them all." And all this leads us into Death of the Venomverse. Also, I'm feeling hungry, so let's talk about our most delicious sponsor, Factor. If you're not familiar with Factor, they offer fresh, never frozen meals that are ready in just 2 minutes, so all you have to do is heat it up and get your grub on, which is crazy helpful for me because, like many of you, my schedule can get pretty crazy and I often have to eat on the go, especially heading into the fall and the holiday season. Thankfully, with Factor, I can keep my fridge stocked with delicious and nutritious meal options so I don't have to think about what I'm doing for lunch. That's right, you get to skip the trip to the store and all the cook work because it's all delivered fresh to your door. It's glorious. And did I mention they have great breakfast options and a bunch of other add-ons as well, like Factor smoothies and juices, which are perfect for an easy pick-me-up throughout the day or to even couple with your Factor meal. I'm telling you, you want to try Factor for yourself. Just head to factor75.com or click the link below and use code VARIANT50 to get 50% off your first Factor box. Again, that's factor75.com or click the link below and use code VARIANT50 to get 50% off. Okay, Death of the Venomverse issue 1 starts off with Carnage saying this is how it begins, as we see on an alternate Earth, Cassidy getting ready to kill Eddie Brock in their jail cell right before the Venom symbiote bonds with Eddie. Then the main Carnage comes teleporting in, having absorbed the powers of the Spot, Hydro Man, and Malekith, stabbing this world's Venom with his Allblood spear, killing this world's Venom. You see, the Death of Venomverse storyline is all about Carnage finding a new calling for himself, killing all the Venom in the Venomverse. He started by consuming powers of other villains in the Marvel Universe, like the 3 I just mentioned, and now has set his sights on tracking down every Venom in the universe, killing them before ultimately killing the ultimate Venom, the King in Black, Eddie Brock. In any case, after this, we see that Agent Venom of Earth 1051, aka Anne Wang, the ex-wife of Eddie Brock, along with the armor-wearing Virus, aka an alternate version of Dylan, Eddie's son. If you don't know, the Virus armor was originally created by Matt Gargan, and it has all sorts of abilities made out of scrap War Machine armor. Anyway, they're teleporting around the universe looking at the carnage Carnage has been leaving behind. And they see most recently he killed a venomized Rocket Raccoon from another world. And asks, how many is that now, Virus? 12? 12 Venoms from different realities? And he's not slowing down. As we see elsewhere, Carnage is currently killing off Venom Wolverine. And continues to say, what does he want? He's always been a killer. This though, he's so methodical, so focused. What does he hope to accomplish? Maybe for the first time, this is more than murder. Virus says he's training, honing his skills, preparing for a fight. She asks, a fight with who? Which we of course already know the answer to. From here we see Carnage kill the Venom Wolverine. As Agent Venom and Virus make their way to the crime scene, Virus says, enter symbiote. There's no sign of symbiote DNA. No codex. It's gone. Every cell of it. As we see Carnage go to yet another reality where he's going after a Venom Ant-Man who grows and tries to crush Carnage with a massive mouthed Venom foot. But it doesn't work. Carnage kills this Venom by piercing him straight through his foot and out of his head. Agent Venom and Virus also arrive at the scene of this crime, picking up his skeleton, holding him in her hand. Venom then tells Virus, let's find this monster and put him down, as they teleport via Virus's armor tech to where Carnage currently is, and they see he's fighting an alternate version of Mania. Carnage says to himself, this one, Mania, yes, this one has power, I can feel it, as soon as I arrived. You can't hide it, power that belongs to me. You are mine. As he grabs her, ripping the Hellmark right out of her. If you're not aware, the Hellmark is a demonic sigil that's in the shape of a pentagram, surrounded by a circle that is given to those who could potentially be a Hell Lord. Lords are powerful demons that have control of their respective Hell dimensions. Essentially, they control their own section of Hell, or their own Hell. And Carnage just took it from Mania, meaning now he absorbed the power to control Hell. At this point, Agent Venom and Virus intervene with Carnage, making quick work of them, saying, who are you, little Venom? This isn't your world. "You're following me, a worthless act of self-sacrifice," as he throws Agent Venom off a building saying, "I appreciate the effort, but you're only postponing the inevitable for all of you." Agent Venom calls her backup Agent Spider-Man, Agent Deadpool, Agent Hawkeye, alternate versions of Agent Venom from different realities. Which is really cool to see, but Carnage also makes quick work of them. Agent Deadpool even gets his head cut off. At this point, Agent Hawkeye's like, "We gotta go, boss. Punch it. Virus, get us out of here." Now fully imbued with Mania's power and the Hellmark, Carnage says, "I rid myself of the weakness of a host. Now I continue to rid myself of every other weakness. Then I'll rid the multiverse of every Venom." As he goes to attack Agent Venom, Virus uses a sonic cannon to hold Carnage back, which actually works. After this, Agent Venom and Virus go back to regroup with more alternate versions of Venom to plan a course of action. Elsewhere, Carnage, now with the Hellmark and his All-Blood Spear, says, "I must purge weakness. Sonic. Fire." Lightning might be a nice addition to the collection, as he finds a Venom Electro, who he again defeats, taking his power and now wielding lightning. The issue ends with the Venom version of the Sinister Six saying, "You strike one of us down, you must still face the rest of the Hive, the rest of the Symbiote Six." That's right, friends, we got the first appearance of a Venom Sinister Six, the Symbiote Six, and they look awesome. But let's jump into issue 2. Issue 2 starts off with Carnage telling the Symbiote Six that he doesn't need anything from them. It would be unnecessary. Basically saying he doesn't value their powers enough to take them. Venom Craven says, "I see you for what you are, a hunter, collecting trophies." Carnage replies, "In a way, yes, only you're not worthy of collection." And so a test, as he uses his new hell powers to raise monsters of evil to fight for him, essentially calling on demons. Yeah, this is like the most OP Carnage we've ever gotten, and he hasn't even reached his full ascension yet. It's kind of crazy how powerful he's become. These monsters of evil then start fighting the Symbiote Six as Agent Venom and her posse of Venom show up to take down Carnage. As Agent Venom says, "Hit him with everything you've got. We've got one chance at this. Take him down." And as the Dr. Octopus Venom seemingly has Carnage on the ropes by wrapping his tentacles around his neck, with Craven coming in for the kill, Carnage says, "This is not how I die. I am beyond you, beyond any of you, beyond anything you can throw at me. I have claimed the All-Blood, claimed the power of dimensional travel, of lightning and hell itself, and my ascension is not complete," as he breaks free, killing an alternate version of Dylan Brock. But after this, Virus hits Carnage with the sonic cannon again, forcing him to flee, as it's still one of his only weaknesses. The Venom Rhino then tells Virus and Agent Venom, "You came here looking for him, tracking him. I want in. I want payback. Do you know where he's going next?" As he's the only member of the Symbiote Six still alive, or at least standing. We're then taken back to where Carnage retreated, saying, "Sonics, after everything I've done to eliminate my vulnerabilities, my enemies can still hurt me with sound, but not for long. Even across the vastness of the multiverse, I can sense my quarry. I feel them like they are part of me, close. I can smell them. I can hear them." As we see, he's traveled to a world where there's a Venom with the power of Sonics called Chaos Engine. He plans to defeat and take his power to no longer be weak to it, but wouldn't you know it, Agent Venom and Venom Rhino, along with the other Venoms, show up looking to take down Carnage yet again. And luckily for Agent Venom and team, they're able to stop Carnage from killing and taking Chaos Engine's powers, at which point they teleport themselves and him out of there. Shriek then shows up, who was fighting Chaos Engine before Carnage got there, saying, "Look at them run, and look at you, oh baby, you're not just back, you're back with a vengeance." Shriek dated another version of Carnage thinking he's returned, but he just tells her, "I'm going to follow them. I could track this Chaos Engine, find him, and kill him. He possesses sonic abilities, a rarity among symbiotes. He belongs to me." Shriek then grabs Carnage, saying, "Who needs him? I've got all the sonic powers you could ever want. We've always made a good team, remember?" He says, "You were close to the Carnage of this world, intimate. I detect traces of the Codex embedded in your cells." As he kills her, saying, "That's right, I'm not Cletus at all. My only symbiote relationship is with hate." Then back to Agent Venom's team, we see Agent Venom, aka Anne, and Virus talking with her, saying, "Carnage is getting stronger by the second. He's not just killing Venom, he's absorbing them. At least he's absorbing the ones he finds useful. Think about it. There are an infinite number of worlds out there spinning through the multiverse, an infinite number of Venom symbiotes. You look long enough, there's no telling what you'll find. A Venom who's immune to fire, a Venom who's immune to sonics, maybe a Venom with powers we can't even comprehend. And Carnage is making their powers his own." Virus then asks, "And this new recruit we're going after?" She then says, "If we want to stop him, we've got to take him by surprise. Hit him with something he's not expecting. Will this work? Maybe, but it's gonna take a miracle. A Hail Mary, as we see they're gonna try to recruit Anti-Venom Silence, something to silence Carnage once and for all. You see, she thinks the Anti-Venom Silence can use her powers of cleansing impurities and others to essentially erase the powers and impurities Carnage has been collecting to make him stronger, ridding him of all the symbiotes he's absorbed. And this leads us to issue 3, where at the beginning we see Carnage is still making his way through the multiverse, fighting and killing any version of Venom he can. This time, a Venom Man-Thing. He's not killing this Venom Man-Thing to take his powers. No, This kill is just to hone his skills, as he stabs them with all blood in the chest, causing him to explode. Meanwhile, we see Venom and Virus track down Silence, telling her what Carnage has been doing, in hopes she'll join them. She continues to say, Carnage is hunting symbiotes throughout the multiverse. We think we might have a shot against him with your special gifts. She tells Silence this Carnage is from this world, which, if you didn't know, is Earth 616, the main Marvel continuity. She then replies to Agent Venom saying, and you want me to take a shot at this, leaving the real anti-Venom, the coach, here, in case Carnage gets past us? I'm in. All the Venoms then go to a world where Asgard and Earth have merged, where they meet a Valkyrie that is the daughter of one of the Venoms. But wouldn't you know it, Carnage shows up, ending the family reunion of sorts, and Chaos Engine then uses his abilities on Carnage, but Carnage just fires back with hellfire out of his mouth. All of the Venoms start attacking Carnage while Silence makes her move. She says, Carnage, I hear you've got a few upgrades. It's gonna be fun putting them to the test. Carnage says, a test? Yes, that's been the idea all along. She then says, I just need one touch. That's all it takes. But she can't touch him. Carnage avoids all of her attacks, while punching her, saying, I'm actually happy. Happy you could be with me, Andy. Happy you could see what I've become. He then kills Space Venom with his all-blood spear, smashes and destroys the virus armor, with Dylan being vulnerable now crawling away. While distracted by Agent Venom, Anti-Venom is able to stab him from behind with Silence saying, that is it. We've got him. He's finished. But Carnage just burns Anti-Venom up, absorbing him, saying, I don't know what will happen taking you into myself, but it's worth a risk. Worth dying. At which point he screams as all the Venoms he's absorbed come bursting out of his back. The issue ends as Agent Venom says, Anti-Carnage is tearing him apart from the inside. As they ask, did we just win? Did we just kill Carnage? And the issue ends. This leads us into issue 4, where we find out Carnage is indeed not dead, but he is in pain, screaming as Agent Venom says, Carnage victims, the people he consumed, are ripping themselves free. Carnage then says, my flesh, poisoned, diseased, turning against me. Venom Rhino says, they're back. All the people he killed, like my pal Electro. A different Venom says, no, look at them. There's something different. They're part Carnage, part anti-Carnage. As we see all the Venoms Carnage killed, now turned against him as anti-Carnage. Mania even picks up his all blood and impales them in the chest with it, saying, look at what you've done to us. You've turned us into monsters. But it's nothing compared to what we're gonna do to you. Anti-Carnage Electro then blasts Carnage, and Carnage continues to get the snot beat out of him by all the Venoms he consumed that are now anti-Carnage. However, Carnage is able to take back all blood, at which point the tides start to turn, and he starts beating the snot out of all the Venoms he once consumed, eventually blasting them all away with a hell mark reappearing on his chest as he says, do you understand yet? Do you realize? Can you see what I've become? Agent Venom says, the antibodies. He's used them. After defeating all of them, Carnage teleports out of there saying, there's only one step left. One step before my ultimate ascension. As we're taken to a place where there's symbiote dragons and the Silver Surfer's there, saying, oh, I see. You're not here for me, the Silver Surfer. Go then and... But before he could finish his sentence, Carnage stabs him with all blood from behind, killing him as he says, sorry, little light, no warriors for you. But don't fret, I'll do what you were meant to do. As we see, he comes to a world where Null is trying to take over Earth and defeat the Avengers. Carnage confronts him saying, sorry, I think you're gonna get a kick out of me. And this brings us to the 5th and final issue of Death of the Venomverse. We see that Agent Venom, Silence, Dylan, and the rest of the Venoms have gone to a Venom safe house on the Earth 1051, with Silence saying, we can't win this thing, can we? Carnage is just too powerful. He's running wild all over us. Agent Venom says, we'll stop him, Silence. We will stop him. We don't have a choice. So all of the Venoms rally one last time as Agent Venom leads them, saying, I've got one last play left, a Hail Mary, but I need all of you to do exactly as I say. We are then taken to a world where Null is fighting Carnage to prove he's reached godhood. Null says, you're not from this realm, a cast-off from another reality. Come here to face Oblivion. With Carnage saying, yes, Oblivion if that's what I deserve. If I cannot destroy you, Null, then what chance do I have against the King in Black? Referring to the King in Black of his reality, Eddie Brock. Null then slashes Carnage with all black, saying, madness, do you not know me? I am the King in Black. Carnage retaliates with all blood, saying, not on my world, not on the world that matters. The Avengers and villains of this Earth start attacking Null, but Carnage retaliates, punching Captain America right through the stomach. Null then gets up saying, I have come to destroy this world, to murder it, and no one will stand in my way. No one, as we see several symbiote-possessed Celestials behind Null. Carnage is not scared though, flying towards them saying, if it makes you feel better, I'll finish what you started. I'll end this world for you, after you're dead. This world and every other as I claim what's mine, as he decapitates one of the symbiote Celestials, telling Null, a god, That is what I've become. That is what I always was. As we see Agent Venom and crew teleport in. Chaos Engine uses his sonic powers to combat symbiote dragons, and we see that Valkyrie is able to wield this world's Mjolnir as she and the rest of the Venoms face off against Null's army. Meanwhile, we see Carnage still fighting Null, and he ultimately defeats him, stabbing him in the back with All Blood, saying, "That's it. There's nothing left. No one left to conquer, save the one I want dead more than any other." At this point, all the Venoms try to take down Carnage at once, but he just looks at them in the face saying, "It's all too late. Far, far too late. Too late to do anything but die. Nothing can stop me. Don't you see? I am a god," as he destroys every single one of them easily. He even kills Virus, who was an alternate version of Dylan Brock, Eddie's son. Agent Venom comes over saying, "I should have found another way. When the other Dylan was killed, I should have kept pushing. I thought we could stop him. I thought if there were enough of us, but they were just lambs to the slaughter, sacrifices, and I offered them up like a loyal subject. Maybe in that way, he is a god. Maybe I was just a damn fool." She mourns Dylan with the combo coming to an end on Carnage's face, accomplishing what he set out to do, becoming a god. And that is death of the Venomverse all the way from where it started to where it currently is. Carnage has reached godhood, defeating an alternate version of the King in Black, and is now ready for his final battle, using his god power to kill the main King in Black, Eddie Brock. What can I say, guys? Marvel has been doing some work with Carnage over the last few years since Absolute Carnage. His arc has been incredible, and I cannot wait to see where this goes and see the battle between Carnage and the true King in Black. But what do you guys think of Carnage's evolution over the last few years? Are you excited Carnage is a god and he's now going to take on the King in Black? Let us know down in the comments. Other than that, we'll see you next time when I talk about all things comics.